Good evening, Wixman Ray. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Sorry we didn't have a weather update yesterday. I got busy with a bunch of things, and by the time I got home, it was real late and I was tired. So that's why that didn't happen. But we're back today, recovering from our days of work, but we're here anyways. Yeah. Hope you're having a good week. Pretty active weather across the United States for the most part. I've got this RGB loop. The sun is setting, as you can see, as it's getting red out here. That's a sign that the sun's going down. But I just wanted to show you, we got this front, a cold front stretching from, just through like Quebec and Ontario, just north of the northeastern U.S. and stretching down through, parts of, Ohio or Michigan, somewhere in this area, and then down to the south here. But we got a lot of moisture. We got two systems going on. We got a low pressure that's developed out here and caused all this clouds, and we got quite a bit of rain and rain showers. A little bit of thunderstorms on the southern edge of this stuff. Most of the stuff's down south. But even at that, the thunderstorms are kind of lacking right now. Maybe they'll get going a little more active as we go through the night. But it's already 8:20 Central Time, so we'll see what pans out. We still kind of have that split level flow. I'll show you on the upper level how that looks. But we're still seeing a general trough stretching from, say, Montana down through the Central Plains and then up across the Great Lakes. I'm sorry. I'm trying to swallow my food that I ate just recently. So yeah, we got this kind of a trough of low pressure. Up here, you got a lot of low cloud up here behind the front, up in Canada and the Dakotas and northern Minnesota. But yeah, this is a really active front. Down here, we got the subtropical jet, so that's an indication we got that split flow going on. We got the southern jet stream kind of interacting with the northern jet stream up here, and so we got a lot of rain going on in the middle part of the country, and that extends all the way up towards the northeast. Pretty quiet across the southeast, mid Atlantic, and down through Florida, and even parts of the south, south of that front. Out west, there's some showers and thunderstorms, kind of spotty thunderstorms, but they're out there, especially in like Nevada. I think there's a couple in Idaho, maybe a couple back here in the desert southwest. And then we got some snow going on out there in eastern Colorado, out there in Denver, like I was talking about the other day. So yeah, so we got a lot of energy in the atmosphere. Out here on the West Coast, all this white stuff or light blue, whatever color it looks like on your screen, it looks light blue on mine. Maybe it's a light color. This is all low cloud. There could even be some fog out here in parts of California, and that's all near the coast area too, the coastal areas along, Washington, Oregon, and Northern California there. So yeah, they're getting that low stratus cloud as they call it. So sometimes that causes problems for aviators to fly and whatnot. So if the ceilings are real low, or if the ceilings are how low the bottom of the clouds are, that's sorry. I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. Ceilings, that's what we're talking about. That's the level of the clouds. So say they're 100 feet off the ground. That's probably not going to be good for some pilots and some aircraft. If the visibility is real low, like a quarter mile or less, that could also, you know, give the pilots and air crews problems taking off and landing and those kind of things. So, anyways, just a little information on that. So, we'll switch it over real quick to our IR just so you can see what's going on. There's a lot of clouds going on out there. So, here's our cold front kind of stretching. It really stretches down south here, and then we've got this upper level system up here producing all this precipitation up like through Nebraska, Kansas, and those areas farther through the Central Plains. If there is precipitation going on, that's the caveat there. So let's start out west since we got a lot going on. Pretty nice out west there in the 60s in Seattle and Portland, 71 inland there at whatever station that is in Oregon, Burns. Out there by Spokane, it's 72, so it's a beautiful day up there. A little bit cooler up in Montana, some 40s going on. And then we can see that some showers up here in Idaho. Maybe there's a thunderstorm going on there. Showers and thunderstorms going on across northern and central Nevada. Some real spotty stuff back here near northern California and Oregon, but I would gather to say that's probably not producing much of anything. A few showers out in Utah. Same idea down in the southwest. Few showers, probably a couple thunderstorms embedded in all this stuff. So looks like it's a little breezy out there too. It looks like we're seeing some gusts of 30 to 40 miles an hour in some spots down here. So we got some energy going through the atmosphere down there. And then out in Colorado here, we got a bunch of rain and some snow going on. Snowing at Denver, snowing. So up from Cheyenne to Denver and across this part of Colorado, we're getting some snow. It looks like these are winter storm and warnings or advisories. Let's see, let's click on one. Yeah, winter storm warnings, especially up for the mountains up there in Colorado and Wyoming. So, yeah, they're expecting some snow out there. So, yep, that came in a little quicker. I mean, I did say Tuesday night, so it probably started. I don't know when the snow started in Denver, but yeah, I guess it's night out there at 7:30. So almost. But anyways, got a bunch of rain out in Kansas and Nebraska. Um, and it's in the 50s and 40s out here, so pretty chilly. Some rain out in Missouri. Looks like a lot of rain. There's some embedded thunder, but really most of this is just light to moderate rain. Looks like there's a couple thunderstorms down here in Arkansas, and that's in the area where there might be some severe. It looks like there was a couple storms down here. It's not real active down here in the south, so they don't have a lot of upper level support down there. So a couple thunderstorms maybe through Tennessee and Kentucky here, but it looks like we have a good shield of rain all the way from Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, gosh, right, Ohio, and it's starting moving to New York and Pennsylvania, and eventually we'll move into the Northeast over the next day, the next 24 hours. So, and behind that front, and along that front, it's chilly. We got 40s and 50s, and that's kind of going to be the story for at least a couple days as this system kind of influences the U.S. So, south of it though, it's pretty nice in the 70s down here, as we're approaching 9:30 on the East Coast, on the Eastern time zone, anyways. So, yeah, and pretty warm across Texas, 70s and 80s. That's it for the surface there. Show you, go through this model real quick here. I'm going to show you the upper level pattern. It's pretty complicated, so I'll probably whiz through it real quick. But so we've got this, like I told you, that trough, like a broad trough of low pressure, similar to last week from Montana all the way through the Central Plains and up through the Great Lakes, starting to edge towards the northeastern U.S. With these yellows and greens or not greens, yellows and reds and oranges. I told you this is vorticity in the atmosphere, which causes clouds and precipitation, um, either or both. So that's why you're seeing all this, you know, precipitation and stuff going on across this area where the front is. And this whole system is supporting that front. Then we got this separate system kind of spinning out here over the desert southwest area with some energy, and that's what's causing these showers up, especially in the northern fringe. There's not much farther south. It's probably just too dry down there. So and then you see all this energy here. That's where we're seeing all that rain and clouds through there too, along that frontal boundary. So Um, so you got kind of two main systems with little perturbations moving through the atmosphere, as we call them, little weak pieces of energy. So we'll just kind of go through. So you kind of see this little piece of energy. That's going to cause that front to continue to dip south. That when you see energy like that pushing down, and this is at 500 millibars at 18,000 feet above sea level. This is going to help push that front slowly south and east. When you have this kind of flow, this kind of west to east flow, that means the front's going to move slowly, because if you have more of a northerly type fit or northwest type flow, then it's going to push that front more rapidly. And that's what this is doing here, is it pushes eastward. But so this system looks like we got a couple waves, one up here out coming out of Canada, another one up in the Great Lakes, and just all that energy. This is that energy along the front that we're seeing here. And then this thing continues to kind of dip down towards the Baja in northern Mexico there, as this, and that's in response to how this thing, see how that thing is kicking southward, so it's kind of pushing everything kind of south with it. So as we go into Thursday, so this is Thursday morning. So yeah, kind of the same pattern, that broad trough of low pressure, with waves, multiple waves going on, ding, ding, ding. Um, and then this one's sitting, still spinning slowly. And that's with that subtropical jet. So this is slowly spinning in the south, but not a lot of weather with that one. And then what you see back here is you're starting to see a ridge of high pressure trying to build across, especially across Nevada and California, is trying to build across the west, but these little waves are coming down from up in the Gulf of Alaska and off the Pacific up there. And so it's kind of flattening out that ridge. So that's what you're seeing going on up here across the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest right now. So that's Thursday morning. So as we go through time through Friday morning, you see see this little piece of energy, it comes down. That's going to cause another little wave to kick up some precipitation out in this part of the country on Friday. I think a weak low pressure, maybe a weak front forms along it. But you kind of see the pattern kind of starts to change. That ridge that we saw edging in is kind of starting to take over parts of the west out here from, say, Utah, Arizona, and California, Nevada. It wants to edge up here, but these little systems are coming on shore. So we see this system that's going to probably bring some rain and clouds to the Pacific Northwest on Friday. So these little waves are going to, shortwave troughs as we call them, are going to come through and flatten out this ridge. But that'll kind of be the general story, at least through the weekend out here, as a ridge is trying to develop, and that'll cause it to warm up here across parts of the west here. And this pattern will kind of keep it coolish, although temperatures will moderate through the week, as we head through the rest of the week. So because you see that this was that cold trough. Sorry, my finger moved it. That starts moving off to the east, and so it's not as deep. And this is by Saturday, so you see this is that system we saw out here. That's starting to push some little front with precip off. Probably it'll be near the east and northeast and moving offshore here pretty quick in Saturday. But see another piece of energy up in Canada. Here comes another one out of the northern Rockies. Still see that ridge kind of trying to build back here across the west. So that's going to mean it's going to warm up out here in parts of the west as we go through the week. It looks like this system finally, I haven't say much about it, but on Thursday and Friday, it slowly went across northern Mexico, and then it goes across Texas. So that should bring some precipitation again as we head towards the end of the week and the weekend across Texas and the south. And see that energy that came out, this piece, it's this piece and this piece kind of combine on Saturday. and we're going to see another pretty strong system form out in the central part of the country with a low pressure and a whole frontal system again, and kind of similar. And that you see that's a kind of going to push another piece of this whole thing right here is going to push some cold air across at least the Great Lakes and parts of the east here down through the mid-Atlantic and northeast. So might get colder by Sunday, Monday time frame, especially into Monday. It looks like Sunday it's just starting to push out of there. So maybe early next week for a day or two they might say cooling off again. But you can see even towards early next week that ridge is trying to build across the west. See that? So that's kind of the trend, and that's kind of what you'll start seeing more and more as we head into the summertime. The ridges. This is a common thing because of how the Rockies are oriented across the United States. This is a very common pattern across the West is to see those ridges, and that's why you always see dry, hot weather out there and no rain and droughts because that's just a common feature climate-wise of what happens more often than not out there across the West, especially in the summertime. All right, so that's about it for that. I spent a lot of time on that than I probably should have, but we'll go through this a little quicker. So sorry, I had to eat. I'm eating something, so kind of just being this way. So this is for through midnight tonight. You can see that snow out here in Wyoming, parts of eastern Colorado. Still got some showers back here, Nevada and Utah, and parts of Arizona and New Mexico, and that rain that's coming out into Kansas. And then here's that front. Got a lot of rain. Looks like there'll be some thunderstorms on the southern end, maybe from Arkansas down to Texas. A little bit, maybe into Mississippi and Tennessee. We'll see. See how fired up it gets going tonight. And that's it for tonight. As we go through tomorrow, so this goes all the way through the day tomorrow. This is by tomorrow evening. You see that front's pushed into the northeast. Kind of slowly got there, but it's there. Now the front's kind of pushed south through, West Virginia and parts of Virginia into the south here from Texas to Louisiana and Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, all those states, and Arkansas. So they'll see rain and probably thunderstorms on the southern end. And this area, the northern plains here, will start, seeing some improving weather, although it's going to be a little cool anyways for Wednesday out there. So some showers, it looks like, across the northern Rockies there. So with this energy, that's like I told you, we'll see the influence of that ridge start coming in, so it's going to cut off a lot of them showers that we're seeing across, Nevada and Utah. So they're going to get dry now for a bit. So as we go through Thursday, we see another area of a disturbance coming out of Canada and up through the northern Rockies with some rain up through Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado, and spilling over into the northern plains. Looks like a little piece of energy up across Illinois, and then more up here across the northeast. Kind of that common pattern when you got the low pressure up north. You just get little waves causing areas of precip. Here's the front here, kind of dragging across the Gulf Coast by Thursday, afternoon, evening. Some thunderstorms down there. I didn't say it, but that area yesterday will go back tomorrow. There could be some severe weather down in this area, and I'll show you the outlook. Maybe a slight risk down through this general area. So something to watch out for. They have a marginal risk, I think, down here for South Carolina, Georgia, maybe into southern Alabama and North Florida, I think, on Thursday. Yep. So you got that, and then you just got little waves, and then you'll see. So you see this little low pressure. That was that one piece of energy I was telling you about, and you see the rain kind of breaking out across the Midwest and Iowa, Missouri, might be even some thunderstorms along some of this. So this will be on Friday. You still have some. That front kind of just stalls out and starts to weaken and dissipate, but there's leftover moisture, showers, and thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast there on Friday through the day. Looks like, yeah, and you're starting to see some of that effects of that low pressure coming into out of out of the Mexico into Texas. You're starting to see some showers out here, not too far from El Paso and down, across South Texas. Um, Another wave up here in New York. Looks like there might be some stuff trying to work its way south here. We'll keep an eye, but we'll go through the weekend here. So this is Saturday midday. Yeah, you see a couple systems. You got another front coming out of Canada, and that's that front I was telling you. Another front's going to develop. So this is the next big one. That'll bring another cold shot too. Looks like this rain kind of picks up. It's pretty wet across the Mid-Atlantic, parts of the Northeast on Saturday. We still got all this kind of moisture across the south here. And that's that stuff across Texas. See, we're seeing that develop too from that low pressure down there. So this is going through the day on Saturday. Looks like by Saturday evening, yeah, that low pressure develops out over the Kansas and Missouri. So we'll see showers and thunderstorms probably from Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, up and through Iowa. And then the front kind of stretches up from there to Canada through Michigan and Wisconsin. So another active pattern here, and then we kind of got this is that low pressure that came out of Texas that's causing showers and storms across the south and southeast here Saturday night, and that these kind of combine. I mean, you're still seeing the lingering stuff on Sunday out here across the southeast, and then this front pushes south, and that'll bring a little bit cooler air again up here to the northern plains, maybe even stretching down to Iowa and Missouri a little bit, some of that colder air, and up through the Great Lakes again. So yeah, so this will be another one. There could be once again some severe weather with this. It it doesn't look like a huge outbreak, but we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on it as it's still, a few days out, 4 or 5 days out. So, anyways, that's all I've got for you. Oh, I do have one more thing for you. I won't show you the temperatures. I was going to, but we're kind of getting long. This is for tonight. We saw a couple storms. There wasn't any warnings, so I don't have a lot of confidence in this, but if a couple storms get going, this is probably a good area for them. So it's a marginal risk up here, but I don't know. They didn't seem to have a lot of storms going on, and it's getting late up there. So we'll see. Um, that's for the rest of tonight. Tomorrow, that area from East Texas, Louisiana, southern Arkansas, across good part of the southeast. Looks like an enhanced risk across parts of Mississippi and from like Jackson, Mississippi, over towards almost to Birmingham. Atlanta's even in the slight risk. So watch out for this tomorrow. That's on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, as I kind of told you, marginal risk down there across the southeast into North Florida, so down in there. After that, there's really not a lot of confidence. We'll see what they decide to paint for the weekend. There could be something Saturday and Sunday as that next system develops. So, anyways, folks, I appreciate you all. Please like and subscribe and share this with your friends and your neighbors and your kids and grandkids and whatnot. And, hey, I'm going to call tonight. This is Wix Man Ray out.